Okay, today we're going to do 11.2, which is the Pythagorean theorem, which you may have used before, I'm not sure, but you only use Pythagorean theorem with right triangles. It's the only time it works. So Pythagorean theorem, if you're given two sides of a right triangle, you can always find the third side. Always, always, always. Okay, and the most important thing to know here is across from the right angle is called the hypotenuse, which is C. Okay, and then the other two sides are legs, which are A and B. Okay, it can be switched. This could be B, this could be A, but it's important that you know that the hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. It's the longest side. Okay, longest side. All right, so let's do a few, let me show you here. Oops. So Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And actually, let me go back here. It should have been on this side. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So it's important that the hypotenuse is always on the right side of the equal sign, or on the opposite equal sign of the equal sign as a squared and b squared. These two are interchangeable. C squared has to be by itself. Okay, that's what's important. All right. So when you look at it, the first thing you want to figure out is what information do we have and what information do we need. Okay, so right now you always just look for the hypotenuse. We need the hypotenuse, so we know, and you can even put c squared if you want, or if you wanted to put x squared, that's fine as well. It doesn't matter. So we're going to do 8 squared plus 6 squared, and you could do, it doesn't matter the order. Okay, so 64 plus 36 equals c squared, okay? 36 plus 64, I'm going to cheat and use my calculator, duh. It's 100 equals c squared. Now, here's a little trick. Whenever you have squared, remember how we said the opposite of squaring something is to take the square root. So you actually have to take the square root to get c. C equals 10. Or you could think to yourself, what times itself is going to give me 100? Either way, but c is equal to 10. So you have to remember to take the square root. So that's your x. Okay, you can put x or c. I just use c because that's what's in our formula up here. Okay, over here again, we're looking for the hypotenuse. So 21 squared plus 28 squared, and I'm just going to use x squared this time. Okay, so 21 squared is 441. Yes, you can use your calculator. 28 squared is 784. You can just put this in if you want as well. You don't have to do it individually. So 784 plus 441 is 1225. And what people normally forget to do is to take the square root. Okay, they normally leave that, which ends up being wrong. So 35 equals x. Okay, so that is your hypotenuse right there. All right. Okay, now what if you're given the hypotenuse, but you're looking for one of the legs? So again, now we're given the hypotenuse. So 14 squared. I always put the thing I don't know first. Doesn't matter, you don't have to. And then 7 squared. So we have x squared plus 49 equals, what is 14 squared? 196. Okay, so now this becomes an equation like we've done before. You have to solve, remember I said those equations solving for x will never go away. So subtract 49. So x squared equals, so 196 minus 49 is 147. And then you have to take the square roots. It is okay if these things do not come out evenly. So x equals 12.1. We'll just round to the nearest hundredths. Okay, so 14 squared, yep, 49, 196 minus 49, 147, and then take the square root. Okay, same thing over here. We're given the hypotenuse, so we know the hypotenuse, the c is going to be c squared. Again, I always put the x squared first, or a squared, whatever you want. And we have 7 again, plus 49 equals 81. 81 minus 49 is 32. So it's going to be a decimal. Sometimes it'll be decimal, sometimes it won't, but we know that 32 is not a perfect square. Whoops. So let me find my space. 5.66, we'll say, inches. Don't forget to label. I forgot to label this one over here. Okay, 5.66 inches. Whoops. Okay, now we're going to do a few word problems. So you got to draw your triangles. A ramp is 2 feet high. The base of the ramp extends 15 feet along the side of a building. How long is the sloped part of the ramp? So if this is our building and this is our ramp. Okay, it says it's 2 feet high, so that's right here. Means it's 2 feet up the wall. The base of the ramp extends, this is the base of the ramp, extends 15 feet along the side of the building. How long is the sloped part of the ramp? So that's this right here. So we are assuming that this building is at a 90-degree angle with the ground. Okay? So what we don't have is our hypotenuse. So we have 2 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. Now if you just want to put that in, 2 squared plus 15 squared, and just do it that way, that's fine in your calculator. So 229 equals x squared. Then take the square root. So 15.13 equals x. So 15, are we talking about feet? 15 feet. Okay, and if your hypotenuse is shorter than your other two sides, you've done something wrong. So a television, so here's our television, is measured by the diagonal. Did you guys know that? If it says 32 inches or 64 inches or whatever, that's the diagonal. So what is the diagonal measure of a television that is 20 inches high and 26 inches wide? Okay, so you've just taken this rectangle, we're splitting it in half, we're assuming that the TV has 90-degree angles there. So again, we don't have the hypotenuse. So 26 squared plus 20 squared. So in your calculator, 26 squared plus 20 squared equals 1076. Don't forget to then take the square root. Always take the square root. So this is about 32.8 inches. Okay. Which when I was younger was a big TV. Now it's pretty small. Okay. Last word problem. 2 people walk 1.8 kilometers due north. Okay. So we're just assuming, north is up on this piece of paper. So this is, not 2, 1.8. Then they turn due east, so they go like this, and walk 1.3 kilometers. How far are they from their original point using a direct line from, so basically like this. This is 90 degrees. So again, we're looking for our hypotenuse. So 1.8 squared plus 1.3 squared equals x squared. So 1.8 squared plus 1.3 squared equals 4.93 equals x squared. Then you have to take the square root. Again, don't forget to take the square root. You don't want to leave it at, we're not looking for x squared, we're looking for x. So 2.22 kilometers is how far away they are. Okay, and it's bigger than those two, so that's good. Have a few little pictures for you. Been waiting to use these cute hypotenuse.